Actual Karen, okay, Boomer here from our basement. I've been working on something on black history from my home state of Texas, but I keep getting sidetracked by idiots in the GOP. This time it's Governor Tate Reeves of Mississippi. He signed a law banning the teaching of critical race theory in elementary schools where it isn't taught. CRT is taught in college classes and is a study in how the black history of the United States has affected the laws and the treatment of people of color. We know how the white version of Mississippi history has psychologically affected Tate. They finally took the Confederate battle flag off the state flag, but he decided to declare April the Confederate Heritage Month again. I know there have been Democrats who did the same. I've heard the speeches of Democrat Ross Barnett. I love Mississippi. I love her people. I love her customs. Right now, they're making it more difficult for blacks to vote. If you haven't read the Mississippi Declaration of Secession, you should. The first sentence of the main body of it says it all. Our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery, the greatest material interest of the world. It goes on to declare that abolitionists have gotten more than their share of everything from the Louisiana Purchase to something about Texas. They should make Tate and every GOP voter in Mississippi memorize it, but they probably be too proud of what it says. He says they will teach about slavery and about the 1960s. Watch the new PBS documentary on Fannie Lou Hamer and see if you think they will teach all of it. They will likely talk about Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney, but will they include the part where it was okay to kill them together, but against the law to bury them together? A few years back, I decided to delve into black history, and the psychological effects on me were huge. I used Stalking the Death Angel, a calendar of documented lynchings. I started on my birthday to research what I could and write about each day. I didn't make it through September because I just could not handle it. I started reading books about black history. I read Hanging Bridge by Jason Morgan Ward. It begins by talking about a hanging from the bridge in Mississippi on December the 20th, 1918. Only a few of the 654 documented Mississippi lynchings took place on that bridge. On December 10th, Dr. E.L. Johnston was killed, and because he and a 20-year-old Major, that's his first name, Clark, an employee, had been having some difficulties regarding Maggie Housey, also 20. Major was accused. Major wanted to marry Maggie, but the doctor forbid it because Maggie was one of his special employees. She was 4 months pregnant with the doctor's child. The doctor was a retired dentist and 45. His father said he was a womanizer and didn't think Major did it. We know these things happened because a light-skinned NAACP staffer, Walter White, infiltrated meetings. They stripped Major and put his testicles into a vice until he confessed and supposedly implicated Maggie, his brother Andrew, who was 16, and Maggie's sister Alma, who was 15 and who was 8 months pregnant by the doctor. They lynched all 4 of these kids together, and according to witnesses, you could see Alma's baby struggling inside her as she died. There's a lot of black history in Mississippi they won't teach. When I was in school in Texas, they said slaves were treated like family, justified it by using the Bible, and said they sang spirituals in the fields. I have a copy of my 8th grade history book. In 1860, there were 5 really wealthy guys in Clark County, Mississippi, named Housey, which was the girl's last name, and they owned 163 people. One of them was a doctor, one of them was a druggist. Not all people took the names of their owners, but over 40 did in Clark County in 1870. This book really educated me on how difficult it was during Jim Crow. They could use a taxpayer-funded building for a school, but if there were civil rights meetings or if anyone protested, they would take it back and fire anyone who participated. They claimed everything was wonderful racially until there were outside agitators. I watched a CBS documentary on the Klan from 1965 yesterday on YouTube. They showed a black man in my hometown, Houston, Texas. They had carved KKK into his chest with a penknife. He was still alive. They had also hung him upside down by his knees from an oak tree and beat him with a chain. I don't recall hearing about that, but I have no doubt it happened. Stop telling people to celebrate Confederate heritage while demanding blacks get over their history. The only thing different today is that nearly everyone has a camera. I have read several other books, including the 1910 Slocum Massacre, which happened very close to where my Texas ancestors lived. One of my fourth great-grandfathers owned people in Mississippi. After having my DNA done, I have met one of the descendants of people that part of my family owned. Do not ask me to celebrate any part of Confederate heritage or history, and I had many relatives fighting on the treasonous side of that history. Thank you.